Hi, it's Tracy from Two Rocks Tarot, and in this week's Tarot Tips and Tricks, I'm going to be talking about reading combinations and tarot positions. So this is one thing that a lot of new tarot readers struggle with, and that's actually how you combine cards together and what do the spread positions mean. So I'm going to share with you a spread that I created myself, and this is a spread that is really good for clients, for those of you who read professionally who have not got any questions. They just sort of plonk themselves down in front of you and say, just, you know, I haven't got a question sort of thing, and they're just kind of like a blank. So what you do, as you can see, I've got 5 cards that I've just put up on the screen there. And of course this is from the Light Seers Tarot. So I've actually did this spread based on myself and what's surrounding me. So the central card is the card that represents myself. In this case it is Strength. And all the 4 other cards is what's actually the energy that is surrounding me at this moment. So as you can see, we've got the Queen of Cups, the Sun, Temperance and the Moon. And you don't have to read them like, you know, start from the Queen of Cups. You might want to start from the Moon, you might want to start from Temperance, you might want to start from the Sun. So this is the energy that's actually surrounding me at the moment. So Strength is kind of interesting at the moment for me because I have said in a few videos I've been really struggling with my depression lately. And the Queen of Cups, this is really weird because the Queen of Cups for many years I thought, well, that was the card that represented myself. So whenever it come up in readings, I was the Queen of Cups. However, lately, last few years or so, probably, I don't know, maybe 3, 4, 5 years, I associate the Queen of Swords with myself. So to have the Queen of Cups energy come up now when I've been struggling with my depression is really interesting, because for me, that's exactly what it was like, you know, my sort of, exactly like she's looking at on there. Very deep into my emotions. I was really struggling with it. I felt like I was drowning. So this particular card image is really good actually, because she's sitting in the water, and this is what I felt like for many years. I just literally felt like I was drowning in my emotions. So to have this come up now is particularly interesting. And then but then to complicate things, and actually I'm going to go straight to the Moon, because the Moon is another one that can, and I have represent dreams, and I have been having really weird dreams lately, like, I kid you not. And again, it's sort of represents my depression anyway really well, about drowning in emotions, because this particular image really looks like that she is drowning. So today I'm filming this on the 3rd of August. And I feel a lot better today. Actually, I've done the housework for the first time in 2 weeks. And for me, that is a really, I don't even know, it's a really bad thing for me. I'm very, what does my stepdaughter says that I'm clinically clean. So for me not to clean the house in 2 weeks just shows you how low I was, because I cannot bear having a dirty house, and I've just finished it. Today I've just, you know, done the housework, and I spent actually a good 2-3 hours, which is a lot for my house. I've only got a 2-bedroom, you know, 2 by 1, but I really scrubbed it from head to toe. So the Sun represents that I'm feeling better. So I am starting to feel better, and I have gone, really made myself go for walks the last few days. I haven't gone today because it's absolutely pouring with rain, but the Sun represents that I feel better. And then I'm going to go to Temperance, which I never noticed about this deck, but he actually looks quite a lot like Prince. And it's saying that, you know, it's telling me I'm getting back in balance. I'm getting back in balance. So my, you know, even though I quite like the way the Moon and the Sun are jungling, so I still feel a little bit down, but not as bad as what I was. I'm getting better. So hopefully this means I can get away with not taking any medication, because I was actually thinking I might have to go back on it. But so that is what is surrounding me, and this come up really well. And this is a brilliant spread for those of you who, you know, who've got no questions, or you just want to see what type of energy is surrounding at you. So looking at this has actually given me good hope that I will beat it. Probably won't have to go back on medication. I'm still not ruling that out. I'm just taking things easy. And so now what I thought that I would do as well is to do a clarification cards using the Lenormand. So for the Strength card, I got the House, and that's interesting too, because I get a lot of strength from staying at home, because I am a hermit. So I love being at home. and it's just my strong point. I just like to be at home. So to have that as me, showing up as me, is a good thing. That's what I think. But also, I had to really, like, my husband really had to force me to go out last Saturday. He said, now you come down to the local pub, we'll have lunch. And I can't be bothered. So it was a bit of a struggle to actually leave the house. But once I did, I felt a lot better. And I did actually go out on Sunday again. And again, I didn't want to go out, but I did. And I had a good time. So, you know, so that's sort of telling me that even though my home is my refuge, sometimes when you are a hermit, it can come a bit like your prison as well. And you need to make sure that you actually, you know, force yourself to go out. And then if you look at the Queen of Cups, we've got the owl. Now the owl is the birds in the normal and Norman. So usually you have one, you know, more than one. So, you know, this represents the, you know, the up and downness of it all. I didn't have any highs. I've just been kind of low. So just having the one bird actually to represent how I was feeling is quite good, because it was just kind of hovering at the same place of feeling down. So that does clarify that quite well. And also because I associate the owl with wisdom, because I've been through this my whole life, I know that it's not going to last long, although this has lasted, I'd say this is the longest it's lasted in a good 16 years, I'd have to say. So, you know, it's been a long time since I've felt like that. But so the owl represents that good. And then we've got the tower with the sun. And this is interesting too, because the tower can represent isolation, but it can also represent, as I've said before, it's a very spiritual card. And I have been diving deep into my spirituality, and it's always given me great comfort. And so to have the sun next to the tower card, you know, because I am starting to feel better. I'm coming out of that isolation, and in this particular tower card, as you can see, you know, the light sort of glows in the window there, and I am starting to see the light literally. So, you know, that's a good one to come up. And then we have got the tree and the moon, which is interesting because the tree represents growth. The tree can be quite a good card to have, you know, like it can be a lucky card, but if you're ill, it can mean that something's growing. And because I literally felt like I've been drowning in this depression, and instead of getting better for a long time, it just grew. It's just gotten worse and worse and worse. So to have that clarifies for me that this is not just a regular bout. Because I mean, I still, you know, even though I'm not on medication anymore, and I haven't been for a good 10 years plus, there's always, once you suffer from depression, you always suffer from depression. It never really goes away. So, you know, I always went through the odd couple of days or weekends or something where I haven't felt right, but it was more fleeting. It didn't last too much. So to have the tree with the moon clarifies just how much this has sort of grown out of control for me. And then you're coming to Temperance, and it's got the clover, and the clover is a good luck card, but it's short-term luck. So right now, I'm okay, I'm feeling balanced, but that card is telling me to keep tabs on myself and to be wary of it, because it just, even though I'm feeling all right today, it might start to strike again in the next couple of days. So I'm going to have to make sure that I keep an eye on it, because the clover is a short-term thing. And interesting too, being short-term, and today was the day I felt like doing my housework, that could be a short-term thing as well, that I'm feeling like doing things as well. So so the clover of the Temperance really clarifies to me that I've got to keep an eye on it, that it doesn't go, you know, grow out of control like the tree with the moon says. So that's how you sort of combine. You can combining two completely different decks. So, you know, one's tarot, one's Lenormand. You can clarify, as you can see, quite easily with Lenormand cards, you know, so you don't have to pull another tarot card to clarify it when it comes to using clarifying cards. You can use the Lenormand deck, and it works really, really well, as you can just see, and it just proves the point that you can read it intuitively as well. So I wanted to touch on combinations, and I thought, you know, what better to have quite a popular deck, the Light Seers, and a deck that's been around for 20 years, Titania's Fortune cards. And that is how you sort of combine it. And this is a really, really good spread for when there is no question, you know, and particularly if you are feeling down and you don't really know why, just pull it, you know, pull a card to represent yourself. Now, I didn't actually like shuffle through the cards and pull a card to represent myself. I just shuffled as normally, and then one popped up like that, like, you know, something pops like that in my deck. That's what I used to represent myself. So I don't actually pull a court card. I don't look through the card to see to pull a card as how I'm feeling, because really, if I was going to pull a card to represent myself, it would have been the Nine of Swords, but I'm not getting a true representation. I think to just shuffle like normal and let it, you know, and you know, pick cards like you normally do is way better than actually deliberately choosing say the Queen of Cups or the, you know, King of Wands or whatever it is to represent yourself. Just actually let the tarot deck choose a card for you to represent yourself. It's much more powerful, I feel. I truly do. And so that's one way. So that's a really neat spread to use, and you can use your clarification cards. Of course, you can use tarot cards. You don't have to use Lenormand cards, but I just wanted to use Lenormand. I could have used Kipper as well. It doesn't really matter. Whatever deck that you're drawn to use as a clarification card, just use it. And then I'm going to talk about a. So what I'll do is I'll just, because I've taken a photo of these, so I'm going to shuffle this back into the deck. And have you ever, you know, when you're doing a spread and then you there's one particular card that stumps you, and you can't for the life of you figure out why or what that card means. Okay, so let's have a look. So I'm going to share another spread with you. I just want to shuffle these all out of the way. I'll just put that in the front. I'll just give this a shuffle while I'm talking. So this spread is really, really good, and I can't remember where I got it from. I think I might have found it on Eclectic Tarot. I'm not 100% sure. So just say you're doing a spread, so just out of interest, say you're doing, I know, because I've dropped them everywhere, haven't I? Sometimes when they're jumpy like this, you get a good, for me anyway, you get a good reading. So let's say you get, why did I lose? Okay, this is a good one, all right. And I'm just going to find the card. So it's just say you lost your job, all right. And then you decide to pull a card and say, you know, why did I lose my job? And you got the Ten of Cups, all right. And you're thinking, for God's sake, why on earth did I get the Ten of Cups? And I'm going to have to try and find the Ten of Cups. I should have had it ready. But I was just trying to think of an actual question. So, you know, you might be thinking that you get the Tower, you know, because, you know, you lost your job. You might have gotten the Tower. You might have gotten, here we go, you might have gotten the, I don't know, you know, any happy tile, Five of Pentacles or something like that. So, you know, why did I lose my job? And then you get the Ten of Cups. You couldn't get a happier looking card than that, couldn't you? So you're stumped. You look at it, you put it down. So what you do is, so that's your first card. So what you do is you put a card on top of it, and the first position is who. So who, you've got strength, okay. The next one is what. You got the Nine of Wands, is as for what. And then the third one is where. Page of Swords for where, and I'll go through what these mean. And the fourth one, and the last one is when. So you got who, what, where, and when, just from this one card. And then the last card is death. So you asked why you've lost your job, and so that was who. And so who has come up, what you've got is strength. So the reason that you've lost your job, even though you're not really feeling like it, is because you're strong enough to deal with it. Okay, so you've got the Ten of Cups, and you're thinking, crap, you know, I'm not going to be able to feed the kids, you know, it's going to be really hard on my husband or whatever like that. But strength is telling you, is because you are strong enough. You are strong enough to deal with it. And then we got what was the Nine of Wands, And if you're looking at that, you're probably realizing that you really were expecting it. You were ready for it, even though you don't think you are. But the Nine of Wands is showing you that you can win it. You will beat it. You will find another job. You are ready for it, even though you weren't really feeling like it. But in the back, subconsciously, you were ready for this change, and you were kind of had an inkling that it was going to happen, but you sort of pushed it down. And then it was where, and that was that the death one for where and when? Oh no, where was the Page of Swords, I'm pretty sure. Should have put them all in order. So as for where, so, the Page of Swords, as you can see, it's, this one has got lots of light bulbs and things like that. So this is an actual where. So that could have actually, looking at where, that could have just happened in the office, couldn't it? You were just doing your work and then suddenly, bang, you found out that you lost your job. And of course, so of course that is the actual news of losing your job. But also, I think the book is also telling you that you've got the knowledge to be able to find another job, okay? Because the Page of Swords is a very, very quick type of energy, so it's going to happen quickly. So really that's saying, as aware, is that you're going to find another job quite quickly. And if you actually look at the picture itself, no matter what deck, whatever deck you're using, so if I was looking at that one there, I'm really attracted to the rocks and the grass. So there might be a job opening coming up, and when I actually go for the interview, there's an empty block next to it that's got grass and rocks like that scattered out throughout the block, and that makes me think that I might be offered this job. So that's the where type of thing. And then of course is the when. You've got death, because you're ready for a change. The when is really the here and now. It's what's happened to you now. So the when is saying to you that you were ready for this change, even though you didn't really feel like it, but you actually are ready for this change, and sort of the universe has kind of stepped in and started to change things for you. And even, I'm just having a look at, so there's lots of trees in this particular death card as well. So, there might even be a park nearby where you're going to, in your next job, where you're going to work. Or it could even, the when could even represent where you currently are as well. You have to, this is just a rough idea, but whenever there is a card that stumps you, you just do who, what, when, and where, and surround it all around, and it helps you answer that card that stumps you. So if you're looking at the Ten of Cups, you could also realize too that you haven't been happy in this job for a long time. And the tarot tells it like it is, doesn't it? It'll call you out. And you've been trying to be happy in this job and it hasn't been working, and that's why you've lost it, because you've kind of put that out into the universe, and the universe has answered you, and you haven't really thought that you were ready, but you are ready. You're more than ready and more than capable to be able to move on. So there you go. So that's another really short, sweet spread whenever you get stuck on a particular card. That actually spread works really, really well with Lenormand cards, and I presume it would work well with the Kipper. I don't work a lot with the Kipper. I have got a couple of Kipper decks, but I've got the bond with Lenormand, so... But, because they cost me a lot of money, or one in particular, I'm going to be keeping it. So I don't work a lot with it, but it is a really good system. But... just, so that's what you do. So you put in the middle is the card that stumps you, and then you just spread all the cards around. So, you could have just put the 10, so just so it looks like a dice. That's what I'm actually trying to get out around it, and that's how you do it. It's really, really simple. And I think that was it. What else was going to be something? Oh, and actually there was another one as well. Is when pulling the one card for an answer, and this kind of highlights us as well. Is when you get a card that stumps you, you can actually use that particular spread of what I just said, of who, what, where, and when, with the particular one card. So one cards can answer questions really, really well, but you have to. I've never really liked doing yes and no readings, because there's just too much that can go on in life that a yes and a no doesn't really sort of answer, sort of thing. But you still can. So I'm just going to ask it. What was the reason What is the underlying reason for my depression lately? And I'm just going to pull one card. Let's just see. Oh, interesting. Underlying reason, I got the Hierophant. The Hierophant. So I'm really attracted to the staircase at the moment. The staircase and the light up the top of it. And that, I presume that's me sitting at the bottom. So what's the underlying reason for my depression? So of course, it's definitely not my spirituality, because I feel quite comfortable and happy what I'm doing with my spirituality. Because the light at the top is like a flower. I think it's an interesting card to get, isn't it? The Hierophant. Not my most particular favourite tarot card, the Hierophant. I think what it is that it could be that I haven't got any real structure to my life. One day, my days blend into another day. It's like Groundhog Day for me. You know, it doesn't really bother me, but maybe it does. Maybe this is it. Maybe this is telling me that I do need to go out more, like physically get out of the house. And yeah, maybe that's it. I need to get out of the house more. I feel like, but I'm thinking like, yeah, I'm feeling like there's no structure to my life. Because when you don't work, there's none of this, you know, you have to get up early, you have to get, you know, if I wanted to, I could lounge around in my pajamas all day long. Nobody's going to know, nobody's going to care. But, you know, you have to be careful that you don't get into that rut of not doing anything sort of thing. You have to make sure that you, and for me, it's making sure I stay physically active, even making sure that I upload my YouTube videos on time as well. But as this being the underlying reason, this could be it, is that there's no structure in my life. And I need to learn something new. There's something I've got to do. And it looks like I'm on the right path, because I'm really attracted to the stairs. But at the moment, I do feel like I'm at the bottom, but I will get up to the top. So that's an interesting card. I'm going to actually ponder on that for a bit longer. But you can, you know, you can actually use one card for an answer. Actually, I'm just going to pull a Lenormand card. Let's see what the Lenormand's got to say. All right. Yeah, that one. Well, actually, two come up, of course. and I got the Garden and the Scythe. Okay, so because the Garden, so yeah, definitely, I need to keep continuing on with my walks. The Garden and the Scythe is quite funny, because that combination can mean that you get offered a job. Now, I'm not going to get offered a job because I'm deaf, and it's not, you know, I don't even want to go into it. So there's no way I'm going to get offered a job. But if I'm looking at that with the Hierophant, I have to change. It looks like change is going to come in, but that's telling me, yeah, I've got to, because what I'm actually thinking of doing is going for 2 walks a day instead of once a day. You go after lunch as well, walk off my lunch. So that's clarifying for me, yeah, that I've got to, you know, get out more. I've got to socialise more. And then once I socialise, the Scythe is telling me that change will come. So I need to go out and socialise. Not only do I need to walk, I need to socialise more, and then change is going to come. So there you go. So it was more than a one answer. It was a bit, of course, I had to pick the Hierophant, didn't I, for a 1-card answer. But you can do a 1-card answer, and you can use another deck to... I was just curious to see what the Lenormand would actually say. So I'll leave it at that. And yeah, you can just use any decks to clarify things with, and that other 5-card spread is a really, really good one to use when there's no question, or you're just curious as to see what's surrounding you or someone that you know. Until next time, this is Tracy.